Revenge films.
My name is Ashley. I was born and raised in the city, and my parents raised me with love and care all the way until I graduated college. I was born with a leg disability, and most days I spend my life in a wheelchair. After I graduated college, I was able to get a regular office job, but I continued to live at home with my parents. However, when I eventually changed jobs, I met Connor, a colleague 2 years my senior, and we began dating shortly after. Connor had the dream of developing an agriculture business on a remote island. I loved listening to him talk about his dreams and aspirations with so much pride, and I was always rooting for him. Around the time I turned 27, Connor quit his job and wiped his plate clean in order to shift all of his focus onto making his agriculture dream a reality. He was really going for it. To pursue this, he was going to move to a remote island far from the city. Saying that he wanted me to come with him, he proposed. There was no guarantee that the business would do well, and combined with my disability, my parents were extremely worried. But when they met Connor in person and saw what a passionate person he was, they approved of the marriage. Our life on the island started off amazingly. Every day was fun and a new adventure. We worked together to learn about agriculture and the local landscape. And as we expanded the business, the profits came rolling in. Around the time the income was stable and steady, it was perfect timing to find out that I was pregnant. We had been trying for some time, and my husband was thrilled. This should have been the happiest time of my life, but instead, this was when it all came crashing down. When we found out I was pregnant, my husband made a suggestion to me. That was to have his mom, my mother-in-law, move in with us. My mother-in-law was living alone in the city, and as her only child, he had mentioned that eventually he wanted to live with her. He also said that he was worried about me raising the child alone from a wheelchair, so he added in the suggestion that she can support me during and after the pregnancy. I had met my mother-in-law a number of times before, but I didn't feel like I knew her that well, so honestly I was already feeling nervous about living with her. However, since my husband kept insisting with such tenacity, I wasn't able to say no, and we ended up having his mother move in just before I was about to give birth. My mother-in-law seemed like a kind person on the outside, but as soon as we started living together, I was shocked to find what a cold personality she had. Even though I was pregnant and in my 3rd trimester, she would make me clean the floors, clean the bathrooms, clean the toilets, and tried to make me do all of the chores around the house. And if I showed even a little bit of fatigue, she would sharply snap at me. "Look at this! The floor is still dirty! Why are you slacking so much?" "I'm sorry, my stomach is really swollen right now."
"What's wrong?"
"Connor, your wife Ashley is lazing about the chores. Tell her, make her do something about it." I figured my husband was going to take my side, so I hid behind him to get protection. However, it was as if my husband had transformed into a completely different person, and he started telling me off too.
"Just because you're pregnant, you better not think you can slack around here. If you can't listen to what my mom says, then I'll have you out of this house in no time."
"What?"
"Mother, are you okay? You must be tired after having to raise your voice like that. My mom has trouble with her ears and vocal cords, so don't make her stress them anymore."
I'm sorry. Hurry up and finish your cleaning so that you can help Connor up with his work." "Yes, ma'am." I learned this for the first time as we started living with her, but this was how I found out that my husband was a mama's boy. Whatever she said was always correct and the truth, and if my mother-in-law got angry, he would come straight to me and spit the blame onto me. Despite the discomfort of life like this, I was able to safely deliver a healthy baby boy. We named our son William. As we began our lives as the 4 of us living together, my mother-in-law and husband's harassment only escalated. My mother-in-law would have something to say about every little thing I would do with my newborn baby and scold me with the harshest words. "Ugh! You see, William is crying. He's probably not getting enough breast milk, that poor boy. You can't even produce enough breast milk. You're a failure of a mother." "It should be coming out, but what's wrong? Are you hungry?" "Come on now, hurry up and make him stop crying. It's so loud and annoying. It's ringing in my ears." "I'm sorry." My husband was with his mother. He became a monster just like her. But when it was just the 2 of us on our own, he was back to his kind self that I knew before. I was confused and concerned by this double-sided personality of his. but his kind side was my only savior in this whole situation. I grit my teeth, and 2 years later, we were blessed with a baby girl. We named her Sarah. Raising the 2 children was a handful, but watching them grow day by day made me really happy. Around this time, my husband's business was really taking off, and the annual income was more than we'd ever seen before. This helped us move to a large house on the ocean side for the 5 of us to live in. We even became well known around the island as a rich family. As his business became more successful and changed for the better, so did my husband's personality. But for the worse. Up until then, he had still been kind when it was just the 2 of us alone, but there wasn't a shadow of kindness to be seen anywhere anymore. On top of that, when he would come home from work and have a few drinks, he would get unreasonably angry and aggressively start hitting me. Welcome home.
I was out drinking today, so I don't need dinner.
All right then, well, you can go take a bath first.
Excuse me? I just came home from work and I'm exhausted. And now you're giving me orders? Who do you think you are?
That wasn't what I meant. Impudent wife, who do you think is allowing you to live like this? Connor is the one supporting your life in that wheelchair, you know.
Exactly! You know what? As a successful businessman who's on the winning team in life, it's embarrassing to have a wife like you that's stuck in a wheelchair. Come on now, get up!
My husband lunged at me and pushed me, forcing me out of my wheelchair and onto the floor. When I struggled to pull myself back up onto the wheelchair using my own strength, my mother-in-law and husband just stood there and laughed. Stop acting so pathetic!
How comical is this? You're so useless!
I managed myself back into my wheelchair in tears, and when I got back to my room, I was greeted by my 2 angels sleeping. I really wanted to talk to my parents back home about this whole situation, but during the day, my mother-in-law was always home, and my husband was controlling my cell phone. As soon as he would come home, he would confiscate it from me, so I wasn't able to talk about it to anyone. Because of that, I also had 2 small kids, so I couldn't get a divorce, and in order to protect my children, all I could do was deal with this abuse. That's what I told myself as I tolerated the escalating harassment and domestic violence from both sides. As the business continued to grow, my husband's company started hosting events and presentation dinners more and more often. Occasionally, the children and I would get to attend, and in those situations, my husband would always play the role of the kind, hardworking, thoughtful husband who was doing it all for his family. Normally at home, he would constantly tell me that my wheelchair was bothersome and in his way, and he would never lend a hand towards me. However, in front of others, he would show extra effort in making sure that he always had one hand offered to me. Seeing this, everyone around us would always tell me what an amazing and perfect husband he was. As a result, he became the subject of various magazine features and local television reports. The more he started to sell himself as the family-oriented businessman. One day, a reporter from a well-known magazine came to our house for an interview. You quit your job and risked everything in order to begin this agriculture business, and your success has been amazing.
Yes, I was nervous in the beginning, but with my wife by my side, we worked really hard to make my dream a reality. Our reality today.
Would you say that your wife's support was a really big part of your success?
Of course! I'm eternally grateful to my beautiful wife, who's been there for me every single step of the way.
You two truly are the dream couple.
Thank you very much.
When the reporter went home, my husband sank deep into the couch and let out a long sigh. Great job today.
I hope you know I don't actually think any of that.
What?
A wife like you stuck in a wheelchair like that? You're just baggage, and that's all you are to me. Why should I be grateful to you?
And this became the regular routine. In front of people, he would compliment me to bits, and at home he would tear me apart verbally and physically with his harassment and abuse. It became a seemingly endless cycle. Unable to leave this situation, my children eventually turned 3 and 5 years old, and around that time, William started to fear his father too.
I'm home! William, come here! You want to take a bath with Daddy?
I want Mommy.
What?
Mommy, let's take a bath together. Me too! Sarah too! Just wait a minute, kids. I need to prepare your daddy's dinner first. But Daddy's probably not going to eat it anyway, right? He always just throws it away without eating anything. My teacher at preschool always says that you can't waste any food.
What did you just say?
I'm sorry, please don't hit me. William, I'll be right up, so can you take your sister to the bath first and get ready? I sure hope you haven't been brainwashing William, have you?
Is this your tactic? I bet you put him up to this!
No, I didn't say anything. I'm going to take a bath with the kids now. My husband was generally nice to the kids and usually didn't get angry with them or hit them. However, the kids would watch him and his mother regularly hit and mock me, and so they'd become fearful of both their dad and their grandma. If things went on like this, I thought it was only a matter of time before he or she would start being violent towards the kids, and the thought of that sent chills down my spine. I wasn't going to let that happen, and I started looking for any opportunity I could to leave this house. That being said, being confined to a wheelchair, there was no way I could escape the island with 2 kids and myself, so I needed someone's help. However, my husband was checking my cell phone back to back every single day, so I knew I couldn't reach out to my parents back home for their help. As I waited for my opportunity, time just kept ticking on, and the longer we stayed, the more famous and popular my husband got. He was a household name on the island by now. Oh, hello! I saw you the other day. Weren't you on TV?
Thank you so much for watching it! Although it is a little embarrassing for me.
Oh, and you must be his wife. Yes.
This is my wife, Ashley. Isn't she beautiful?
Wow, of course you have a beautiful wife. You must be so happy to have such an amazing husband like him. I'm honestly so jealous of you. Thank you very much. I did my very best to muster up a smile, but somehow it wasn't enough and I angered my husband. When we got home, the avalanche of insults and punches and kicks ensued.
What was that fake smile you did back there? It's almost as if you were trying to tell them you're unhappy!
I'm very sorry.
Do you think this is funny?
What's the matter?
Mother, this woman just tried to make a joke out of me! How dare she!
She did what? You in a wheelchair trying to make a joke out of Connor? That's enough already, you worthless little roach! My mother-in-law stood in front of me and with her full strength slapped me across the face. Ow! Mommy! William, go back to your room! Don't bully my mommy! Bully? Don't say it like that. People will misunderstand. Can't you see that your mommy is making everyone's life here difficult? It was her own fault. Mommy, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay, so please just go back to your room and wait there.
William, you can leave her alone. Why don't you sleep with Daddy tonight?
No, I don't wanna. I wanna sleep with Mommy.
Why do you say that? Do you not like your daddy?
I hate everyone who hurts my mommy.
What did you just say? Did your mommy put you up to this? You come here right now!
Stop! Stop it! Don't hit Mommy! My husband didn't stop. He continued punching me over and over again, and including my face. I was covered in bruises from head to toe. My son saw it all and was standing there crying the whole time. My husband finally calmed down. I took my son and my daughter back into their room, and William grabbed onto me as he was sobbing. I'm sorry. I know it was scary. I patted him on the head gently, but then he looked up at me with a determined face. Why are you saying sorry, Mommy? I thought you're supposed to say sorry when you do something bad. Daddy should be the one saying sorry. That's right. That's exactly right, Will. I'd reached my limit. If it was just me, then maybe I could have somehow tolerated it. But I couldn't let my children be part of this too. I decided that I was going to take these kids and get out of this house no matter what it took. The next day at night, my husband came home in a rare good mood.
I'm home! Mother, listen to this!
Oh, did something good happen?
Today I got a phone call from a major television network in New York. They're doing a live broadcast of the Happy Family Project, and they want us to be in it. This is a national TV show. I've made it. I'm finally gonna be famous around the country, and someday around the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Although I can't say I'm too surprised, my wonderful son.
The whole family's gonna be on TV thanks to me. William, Sarah, aren't you excited?
Yay, TV!
Oh yeah, hey you! If you try to pull that same fake smile crap like the other day, I hope you know what would happen.
Yes, sir, I'll be careful. My husband must have been in an awfully good mood that day because after he finished his drink, he went to sleep earlier than usual. Usually he would confiscate my phone before going to sleep, but today he seemed to forget about that. I knew this was my chance, so I grabbed my phone and went back to my room. I called my parents straight away, but because it was already quite late, they were probably asleep already and didn't answer the phone. I started writing a long text message to them to explain the whole situation, and that's when I suddenly heard the door open. My husband was standing in the doorway. I tried to hide the cell phone immediately, but it was too late.
Who could you possibly be texting at such a late hour? Show me!
I tried to hold onto the phone and delete the message, but he forced it out of my hands and began reading the message I had started. I knew that this wouldn't end with just a few fistfuls, and I was overcome with fear and desperation. I was worried that the children would wake up, so I tried to get out of the room, but he pinned both arms behind my back and dragged me into his own room. Over the course of the next few hours, he yelled at me, threw things at me, hit me repeatedly, and threatened me.
There's no use trying to get help from your parents! As long as I am here, they'll never get anywhere near us!
I can't do this anymore. This life.
Shut up! I'm the one working hard and earning all the money for this family, supporting every single one of you, even you in that wheelchair! What could you possibly have to complain about?
I can't tolerate your violence and abuse anymore!
As if you're in any position to say something like that! Don't even try to stand up to me when you can't even walk! I'll be confiscating your cell phone for good, and I'll never give it back to you ever again!
That cell phone was my only way of communicating with anybody outside, and with that gone, I had lost my chance. I racked my brain trying to think of any way I could get help without using the cell phone. When a plan popped into my head, I knew that this was my last chance, and the only chance I might have to escape this hell. And so I began planning. A few days later, after finishing his meetings with the TV network, my husband came home once again in a jolly great mood.
Every day I have so many people that are so interested in my life, it's exhausting. I guess this is why famous people have such a hard time. The broadcast is going to be next week. The show is called The Happy Family Project, so you all better be ready to put on your best smiles when you respond to the interview.
Wow, that's amazing. Only you could do it.
Obviously. Who do you think I am?
Oh yeah, I really want my parents to watch the live broadcast too, so will you let me send them a message about it?
Are you planning on doing something behind my back again?
No, of course not. I just want to tell them to watch the TV show when it airs.
Alright then, I'll send them the message.
Okay, please don't forget. I want them to see how happy we are too.
That's a good point. That way, even if you're far from your parents, they won't be worried or suspicious in any way.
Exactly, so please make sure you send it. The day of the live broadcast. There were a lot of people in our house with a large cast and crew from the network. My kids started getting anxious. Mommy, when they say happy family, are they talking about us? That's right, Will. But are you happy, Mom? Even though you're always being hit? Mommy's happy because of you and Sarah, but I promise we're going to be happier from now on, so don't worry. Really? The 3 of us are going to be happy. Yeah! Alright, is everyone ready? We're about to connect to the network. Good luck. We're going live in 3, 2, 1. The host began with his interview with my husband, who put on his usual charismatic smile and answered question after question with confidence. When you moved from the big city life to the island life, what were some of the difficulties that you faced?
It took a while for us to get used to it. It was a rocky road at the start. But as a family, we worked hard to overcome those bumps, and that's how we got to where we are today. Nowadays, we really don't face any difficulties at all.
I heard that you made your house fully accessible for your wife.
Yes, well, of course! I wanted to ensure that my wife could live with as much independence and freedom as any of us at home.
What a kind husband. Has he always been like this ever since he was little? Tell us what he was like as a child, Mrs. Connor's mom. Of course he was. He was always a really thoughtful little boy who would try to understand the pain and struggle of people around him. How wonderful. And Ashley, as his wife, you must feel so lucky. The host directed a question at me, and as I saw the camera zoom in on me, I put my plan into action. I lifted up my shirt and showed my stomach and back. Everyone in the room was stunned. At first they were confused by my sudden action, But the moment they saw the bruises covering my stomach and back, I felt the room freeze over. Is that? These are all the bruises and scars from the daily abuse and violence that I get from my husband.
Whoa, what are you saying?
I think this one here is from when my mother-in-law kicked me and I fell out of my wheelchair. You need to stop right there! Dad, Mom, are you watching? Please come and save me and the kids.
Stop! Stop the cameras! This is all a trick! It's a setup!
You useless wife in a wheelchair.
What? Hey!
Isn't that what you always say, Daddy, when you're hitting Mommy?
William!
You're supposed to say sorry when you do something bad, and you still haven't said sorry to Mommy.
Shut up! What have you done?
I just wanted to tell the truth. How can I sit here and let them broadcast on national television that we're a happy family when we're not?
Are you kidding me?
Connor came lunging at me and the people from the TV network panicked and stepped in between us. This was, of course, all happening live, so within seconds it was all over social media and all over the internet. In an instant, my husband's fame went from being the amazing family man to the abusive and violent husband. Seeing the bruises and scars on my body, the people from the television network felt it was too dangerous to leave us there. So they helped to keep us away from my husband and my mother-in-law. They arranged for me and the kids to stay in a hotel that night. And on top of that, they helped me call my parents who arrived the next day to the hotel. My parents came running to me and the children, both of them with tears streaming down their faces. I'm sorry. We're so sorry. We should have been here to help sooner.
Come home. Come back to our house with the kids and we can all live there together.
Thank you. I want to go home. Being reunited with my parents and feeling a sense of relief and safety for the first time in years. I sat there sobbing for who knows how long. My parents said that the people from the TV network had arranged a car for them. So that day they went to my house where my husband and mother-in-law still were.
What was that you said about our daughter? Useless in a wheelchair? How dare you!
We have every intention of filing a report and taking you to court. But don't you ever think about coming anywhere near our daughter or grandchildren ever again!
No, you have it all wrong! This is all a misunderstanding!
Please, not a report!
You think you have any right to make requests?
As my parents were handing them an earful, the neighbors and other island residents who'd been watching the live broadcast had gathered outside of the house. There was a huge commotion as people started raising their voices. I was watching you on TV, you shameful devil! Get off of our island!
Like I said, this is all a misunderstanding!
A misunderstanding. We all watched as you lunged for your wife's neck. It was all caught on camera.
This has to be a joke! My life is over!
If you don't hurry up and get arrested, I can assure you, you won't be able to sleep at night.
We will be mailing you the divorce papers. We never want to see or hear from you ever again. So you can work it out with our lawyer from here.
Lawyer? Divorce?
That's right, of course! And we'll be taking our daughter back with us. No! How? Mother, do something!
There's nothing I can do.
I'm successful! I built this all myself! I was on the winning team! I don't want to lose anything!
After that, we went to file a police report and my husband was arrested. At the same time as the divorce, I was able to collect my settlement fee as well as child support fees, and my husband was forced to drain his bank account to me. After being arrested, my husband lost his job. He tried to sell the house, but nobody wanted to buy it. His company got destroyed to dust, and he ended up going into a deep debt. He showed the entire country his true abusive nature on live television, and for a while after that, he was trending all over social media. He was recognized everywhere with fingers and glares pointed at him. He finally got the fame that he wanted. Even after he gets out of prison, I can't imagine he'll be able to come back to society. As for his mother, she was no longer able to stay on the island and decided to move. But since her face was right there on TV as well, she became scared of the public eye and went into hiding somewhere far away. Now free of both of them, my children and I moved back to my parents' house and started our new lives together. Thanks to the settlement fee we received from my husband's abuse and harassment, we were able to live comfortably, and I can take my time finding my next job. My parents were thrilled to be able to live with their grandchildren, and since they made my family a priority and supported me with my kids, I was finally able to relax and spend some time with myself. That allowed me to slowly start to heal from the years of harassment and domestic violence. and little by little I was able to take back my genuine smile and my life. My husband sent me multiple letters of apology and regret, but I didn't bother reading any and wound up ripping them up and throwing them away. No matter how much they may try to apologize, I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive them. With a mountain of debt and a criminal record to his name, even after he gets out of prison, I can only imagine how difficult my husband's life will be. I can only think of it as karma for all the years he spent torturing me and the kids. I sincerely hope he spends the rest of his life faced with the guilt and regret of his own doing. As for us, we'll continue our lives as a truly happy family.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.